if Miss Swift failed to do so, Miss Lively would release 10 years of private texts with Miss Swift. Hi, and welcome to Flawsome Talk. I'm Kjersti Flaa, and here on my channel, I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood, working as an entertainment reporter, and about Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Taylor Swift, and Ryan Reynolds, and everyone else involved in this insane drama that is getting worse by the hour. I posted a video earlier today, and I thought, okay, that's it. Now I can relax and go and have dinner, which I did. And then I came back and I was like, oh my God, now I have to go and report on this because this is absurd. So we thought that what we saw yesterday from Brian Friedman was terrible, and it's worse. So today, Brian Friedman sent an affidavit to the judge, meaning that someone has sworn to him that the information they gave him about Taylor Swift is true. He goes into details of how he achieved this information. And it turns out that this dates back to actually February earlier this year when he received a phone call from someone who wanted to tell him something. And he says it here in this statement to the judge. He says, I received a voicemail on February 14, 2025 from a person very closely linked to Taylor Swift, whom I subsequently called back the same day. So he's known this since February, which is another interesting point here. He's been sitting on this information because he couldn't just leak it out there without it being a subpoena involved. I'll get back to that later, but I think this is a very interesting point here. And he says, out of respect for the individual in question, I'm not identifying them at this time. However, should the court direct me to do so, I will comply with the court's order. He says, during the February 14th phone call, which lasted approximately 1 hour, the speaker told me that they had been informed that J. Douglas Baldridge, counsel for Taylor Swift and partner at Venable LLP, had received a phone call from Michael Gottlieb, counsel for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, during which Mr. Gottlieb requested on Ms. Lively's behalf that Taylor Swift make a social media statement in support of Ms. Lively, giving her absence from the Super Bowl that year. So she was basically saying that, you need to explain why I wasn't at the Super Bowl with you. So you need to put out a statement that you support me publicly. And stated that if Ms. Swift failed to do so, Ms. Lively would release 10 years of private texts with Miss Swift. Blake Lively would publicly, this is so cruel. This is so mean. This is just like another level of what I thought was possible coming out of that camp. She threatened to publicly release 10 years of text messages. Can you imagine all the texts back and forth about Taylor Swift's exes? He continues to say the individual also told me that they had been informed that Mr. Baldridge had accused Mr. Gottlieb of extortion and ended the call. So basically, Taylor Swift's lawyer probably hung up on Mr. Gottlieb. During the same February 14th call, the individual told me that they had been informed that 4 or 5 months earlier, Ms. Lively had requested that Ms. Swift deleted her text messages with Ms. Lively. So this happened in February 14th on Valentine's Day of all days. And Lively had already asked Swift to delete her text 4 or 5 months earlier, which would be around October or November, just when I guess New York Times started working on that article. You can bury anyone. Mr. Friedman continues to say, I was connected to this individual through a mutual friend who informed me that the individual wanted to talk. We have had several phone calls since February 14th. On a later call with the same individual, the individual told me that Mr. Baldridge had sent a written communication to Mr. Gottlieb relating to their phone conversation. My office issued a subpoena to Venerable LLP for the purpose of seeking aforementioned written communication. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to 20 U.S. blah, 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 some laws. Anyways, so there's something written about this, and this is what Brian Friedman wanted to get his hands on here. As I said earlier today, I think it's really interesting here that Taylor Swift has not come out publicly through some of her spokespeople to deny these things or these claims if they weren't true. She would jump on this instantly and say this isn't true. This is one of the reasons that I believe it, and I think most people believe it. And it looks like even People magazine now has started to turn on Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. This, I think, is a big sign. So today they had this headline saying Justin Baldoni's lawyer doubles down, claims Blake Lively pressured Taylor Swift for public support after Super Bowl absence. They want to be on good terms with Taylor Swift, obviously. And the thing is, when you think about this now, all the media outlets that who has been supporting Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds through this are going to sit here now with egg on their faces, being like, oops, we supported Blake Lively, and now we know what she did to Taylor Swift, especially all these feminists supporting other women. And we know that she blackmailed her friend and pressured her to destroy evidence. And this is the person that so many media outlets have been supporting, including, of course, the New York Times. This looks so bad for them. And I think now we see the reason why we got to this point is because all of the people out there, creators, all the people that have been digging into this, all the mommy sleuths that found things, have all of this together has created this moment when we starting to really see the truth there of what has happened and who these people really are. Apart from that, something else happened today that we're not going to be super excited about, but of course I have to talk about it. And that is the fact that Judge Lehman actually did toss out the letter. So he told Mr. Friedman that he shouldn't abuse the court system. He said counsel is advised that future misuse of the court's docket may be met with sanctions. He said he agreed with Blake Lively's team and said that this information has nothing to do with the actual case, which I also thought about yesterday. I think I spoke about it. Like, why is this subpoena from Taylor Swift important to Justin Baldoni? And here is my crazy take on this. I think that Taylor Swift kind of wanted to be subpoenaed so this information could come out. Because if she has been pressured and blackmailed by Blake Lively since October, she is pissed off. And how can this information get out there? The only way that could happen was if Brian Friedman subpoenaed Taylor Swift and she would fight the subpoena, and then voila, all this information can come out so that Brian Friedman can explain why he wanted this information. As we know now, he knew this already in February, so he was sitting on this information and he was probably thinking of a way that he could get it out to the public, which is kind of more important than that it is actually added to the case. And I think also this is a great way for Brian Friedman to push for a settlement, because now Blake Lively is completely ruined. Anyways, that's it from you guys. Something's happening every hour of the day now, so I will be on top of this as much as I can. I promise you guys that. And of course, if you have any inside info, please let me know. Keep sending me tips. This is so amazing. This is really exciting. It's so crazy. This is like the biggest bombshell ever. It's insane. No one saw this coming. Anyways, thanks for watching my show, and please subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And yeah, I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.